Home inspection is very critical before buying. Make sure you hire experienced professional, home inspector who will check for the following and provide you a, detailed written report. You want to make sure he checks for, structural integrity of the foundation walls, ceiling, like the roof, attic, crawl space. Make sure he goes in there, right, if possible. Exterior also is important, so check for siding, like damage to the siding, windows, doors, decks, and balconies, right? Plumbing, like water supply, check for like faucet, leaking faucets, toilet, and also the pressure, right, of the water. Make sure it checks the drains, draining properly, and then there's no leaks, right? And same thing with the pipes, right? That there's no corrosion or leak. Electrical, you want them to check the breaker panel, make sure it's labeled properly, and the amperage, is it 100 amp or 200 amp, right? And make sure there's no tripped breakers. If one is tripped, you want to find out why, right? Also check for the wiring, right? Make sure it's copper, not the old wiring, right? You want them to check for HVAC and furnace. Make sure how old it is, if it needs replacing, if there's proper ventilation, and for safety. Appliances, that's another thing you want to have it checked, right? Make sure they're working properly, they're functional, and the exterior, the interior, space. You want to check for mold, even in washrooms behind the walls, right? To make sure everything there's no mold in the attic or anything like that. And in the backyard, you want to check for drainage, it's draining properly, right? And see if there's any kind of pests, right? And like I said before, mold, you want to make sure, check for mold, right? It's dangerous. It's dangerous for you if you have little ones in the house, right? And you want to make sure that you get a proper inspection, written inspection with all the photos, so that you can always go back to the seller if there's any major issues are found, and you can negotiate the selling price, right, with the seller. So hire a professional. Go on Google, maybe check out all the reviews for the inspector before making that decision.